welcome to Bake It Up for a new episode of the series called Let's Make It Sweet. And the recipe is burnt cheesecake Basque. So this recipe, it's quite trendy right now on Instagram and Facebook or on social media, even though the recipe is not that antique as it might sound like. This recipe was invented basically 3 decades ago in San Sebastian, Spain, in the Basque area, and that is where the name comes from. So it's very easy to make. It is very, like, you can't mess this cheesecake up. It has no crust. You don't have to worry about deflating or burning on top, because that is exactly what we want. It has a very strong flavor of cream cheese. And if you never had one, just stay with me for this workshop, because I'm going to teach you this incredible recipe, and you will also see how easy this recipe is. While we wait for a little bit more people, for a few more people to join, we have already a lot of people watching from Kalamazoo, Venezuela, Nebraska, San Francisco, Toronto, hi Citiali, Rios, Ireland, London, Las Vegas, Philippines, France. You guys are amazing. Arizona, amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm going to show you quickly how the cheesecake is going to look like. And my cheesecake is still here because I want you guys to see the cut, which is the most. We will be making easy chocolate truffle. Chocolate ganache and with, different kind of coating, and very easy, very simple to make as always. So make sure that the link, I don't think is in bio yet, but if you go on Facebook, you will find the event and the link to click on to register on Eventbrite and get the recipe in advance, as always. So I decided to go ahead with one more day of the pumpkin everything mini book for free. 2 people are going to get the mini book for free if you guys answer to one of my questions correctly. So stay with me, focus, and the first 2 people, doesn't matter the spelling as long as you were listening and you can write it down. The first 2 people are going to get the book ready to begin. Who is excited? Who is happy? Thumbs up, guys, and make sure to subscribe. It's very important. This is how you support the channel. Like and share this video. Let's get started. So guys, first of all, if you are making the cheesecake with me and you have everything scaled, you want to have your oven preheated at 465 degrees Fahrenheit or 260 degrees Celsius. Actually, let me check. I don't want to give you the wrong. For Fahrenheit for sure, but for Celsius, let me convert, because I go by Fahrenheit, guys. I am European, so I go by Celsius. I converted, but I can't remember now. 465 Fahrenheit. I can type today to Celsius is 240, see, because that's important. So 240 degrees Celsius, the temperature of the oven is really, really important. So make sure that you have your oven at the right temperature. 240 degrees Celsius or 465 degrees Fahrenheit. I just have to move something here very quickly. I don't want really any accident to happen. Okay, perfect. So we need just a few ingredients. There is really not much that we need. We have cream cheese, of course, and we have sugar, eggs, we have a little bit of flour, we have heavy cream, a lot of heavy cream because this cheesecake is nice and creamy. We have vanilla, a little bit of lemon. You don't have to, but I always say that the combination of vanilla and lemon is definitely the best. So, and I also have some cinnamon in case you want to add some extra flavor, because keep in mind, guys, this is the base. So this is the basic recipe, but you can change it, adding, you know, different kind of spice. If you want to change something, like I know that there are out there cheesecake with Nutella, but that is going to change completely the recipe. So stay with this one first, try this one, get comfortable, and you will see it's going to turn out amazing. And then you can expand, and this is the one that works. Anything else, you can just play around. So here I have cream cheese frosting, cream cheese that has to be at room temperature. You want to cream the cream cheese because we don't want lump. While we wait, I'm going to break my eggs that also have to be at room temperature. You want all the ingredients at room temperature. Now I have a piece of shell here. If you want to know how to get rid of the piece of shell, if it's not with this container, but you can use your eggshell because it's going to attract the actual piece of shell, and it will be easier to pick it up. And nothing. Those eggs are very, very fragile. Okay, I have my 3 eggs here. My cream cheese is nice and creamy. And we are going to add the sugar. Just mix until completely combined. I don't add the eggs in the cream cheese because you might end up with some pieces of shell in your mixture. So you don't want that. You want to do it in a separate bowl always. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to whisk my eggs lightly because this is going to help to incorporate the eggs without working the butter too much. Because with cream cheese, what we don't want, usually, with this one it's not a big deal, but I'm telling you something that works with cheese, with cream cheese, and with this one as well. It's always good to avoid to incorporate air. So when you beat your eggs, as opposed to adding 1 egg at the time, you prevent the butter to incorporate a lot of air because it's already mixed. You still want to add, like if it's 1 egg, so a little bit at the time, but I suggest to slightly whisk them. So this is now ready, it's nice and creamy. At this point, you want to double check that you don't have big pieces of butter, of cream cheese, because you will find it in your butter at the end. Ugly lumps that you don't want, because you want to make sure that your cheesecake is silky and creamy. How are we doing? Oh, a lot of thumbs up. Thank you so much, guys. Let me give it another stir. Make sure that you scrub the bowl. I have this amazing attachment that you can find online. This is amazing when you use the KitchenAid, because you don't have to stop and scrub the bowl all the time. But you guys make sure, if you don't have this attachment, you make sure that you stop and you scrub the bowl. See, it's already beautiful, nice and creamy, and this is ready for some eggs. And in 3 times, low speed, add the eggs. And it will incorporate faster. Swati, Mary, Barbara again, Teresa, Paula, hi. Love the eggshell tip. Yeah, it's very useful. With this one, it has a weird base, silicone, and it was very difficult. But if you use the eggshell, it's perfect. It just literally attracts, for whatever reason, the actual eggshell pieces, broken pieces. Done. And 3rd time. Before. But this is the actual, let's call it secret, for the great texture, so that your cheesecake is not too dry inside and not too soft. So we are going to use a little bit of flour. We are going to use cake flour, and we will mix it with whipping cream. It's not easy to combine these 2 ingredients. This is the reason why what we are going to do is just to add a little bit of cream, and the flour, and with the mini whisk we can stop the KitchenAid, the mixer. We give it a whisk until the flour is fully incorporated. You don't want to see any lumps, so I suggest you to sift the flour and we are going to add the remaining. So why we do this? What it does, this little tip or trick, what it does is that flour develops gluten when getting touched with liquids, and is basically developing a little bit of gluten using the cream as opposed to the butter. Because if we keep mixing, if we mix a lot, again, we incorporate a lot of air that we don't want. And now you keep, it's gonna look like a paste. It has to be, the flour has to be fully incorporated with no lumps again. And when it's nice and silky, now you add the remaining cream. And you make sure, of course, that everything is nicely combined. At this point, we can use a spatula, again, because the whisk is going to incorporate air. So we just want to stir it to make sure that those 2 ingredients are nicely and fully incorporated. So we are going to add a little bit of flavor here. You don't have to, but again, I like to add vanilla and lemon. The recipe says lemon juice, but I don't want to add any extra liquid. But I want to feel, I want to taste the lemon with the vanilla. So in order to do that, I'm supposed to add more juice, and that it might change the recipe. So I am using lemon zest, Make sure again that there are no big lumps, because this will be very annoying and difficult to get rid of at the end. Okay, so let's add. We don't want the white part of the lemon. Half lemon is enough for this recipe. If you want to add more, it's up to you. Let's give it another mix. Let me clean the table. It looks a little bit messy. Again, low speed. We don't want air. And high fat content, so 35%. All right, you will end up with a very runny butter. Now we are going to let this beautiful mixture sit for a little bit. And while we wait, let's get our cake pan ready. This is very important. It's the signature of the cheesecake on top of, you know, the burnt top. So I'm using here a 6-inch cake pan, 6-inch pan with a removable bottom. You don't have to. If you want, there is a link in the description box below that you can click on to get this pan on Amazon. It's exactly the same. Now, get ready for my question, because I am going to ask the question. The first two people that are going to answer correctly are going to get pumpkin spice everything mini ebook for recipes for Thanksgiving. Grab some parchment paper. And you push it all the way down to the edges of the pan. Completely flat at the bottom. And then I like from the, and so on, and you keep going. Fold the parchment paper if necessary around, and you have your first. So you want to make sure that your parchment paper is strong enough so that you can lift your cheesecake, and you don't want the paper to break. So you don't have any leakage. All right, this is how it's supposed to be. 2 layers of parchment paper. And let me look at the answers. Oh, wow. Wow. All right, we have the winners. But thank you, Alida, Heather, Amber, Natalia, Lancy, G, Mary, Barbara, Teresa, Marie Cruz, Mello, Aisha, Itang, El Tucker, Lorena, Belen, Sandra. I have the 2 winners. I love this thing. Okay, guys, the winners are Alida and Heather. I'm so glad, Heather. Heather, didn't you win the mini book already? I might be wrong. Please let me know, because in case we can give it to the following one. Thank you, Lavinia. Heather, let me know. So, well, if that is not the case, We have the winners. Congratulations to Alida and Heather. Okay, you haven't. Perfect. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Alida and Heather. Guys, congratulations. Send me an email, bickitup.to@gmail.com, and you will be receiving the mini ebook within 24 hours. There is going to be an amazing workshop that it's going to be a paid one, but it will be so worth it. With one recipe, you can eat it, because don't forget, this has eggs, and those kind of things are very important. We are going to give it some extra time for more bubbles to come up again. And while we wait, we are going to cut our parchment paper around about 1.5 inches or 2, because otherwise, so we want to cut those parts. Yeah, this is enough. And then you want to keep those, do not fold it back completely, just in case your cheesecake is going to rise too much. Now, let me tell you something. Lorena, so I have a question here from Natalia. Lorena, is it possible to make it gluten-free using corn.to@gmail.com? And let me tell you one more thing. I'm looking at one question here. Madiha, grazie. Grazie. Thank you. All the time you bring good recipe. Thank you so much, Madiha. Okay, so guys, now here I'm using, I know that some of you are going to ask me, what if I have a bigger pan and so on? So this is a 6 inches or 6-inch cake pan. If you have an 8-inch cake pan, you can do it, but you have to increase the amount of for around 20 minutes longer. At the end of the day, you will see that a little bit later. But for now, I told you what to do if you have an 8-inch cake pan. So you have to increase the recipe. You have to add 50% of the ingredients and bake it a little bit longer, about 20 minutes. The temperature of the oven is going to stay the same. I see some bubbles here and some piece of paper. All right, and this is ready to be baked. Baked at 240 degrees Celsius or 465 Fahrenheit for 30-35 minutes. But now again, depends on your oven. With my oven, it's perfect, 30-35 minutes. Once again, you want the top dark brown, and if you try and you touch it and it jiggles a little bit, it's ready. So if you don't want to bake it right away, this can go into the refrigerator. It has to go, do not leave it on the counter. Remember, we have eggs here. Has to go into the refrigerator, and you can keep it as long as. Thank you so much, guys, for your beautiful. So, good question, Aisha. I leave it the 2/3 of the oven. So it's not right in, oh, maybe you don't. Let me move the KitchenAid. a little bit lower than the middle. The middle will be too high. It's going to burn too fast. The top is going to cook and then burn or bake too fast. And it's not going to, oh my God. Okay, so you got it, a little bit below the middle. So what else I have here? You still have the sticker on the outside of the pan. Oh yes, I do. This doesn't go, I know, I love Tucker. I know this doesn't go away and I don't, it's fine, that's okay. So what else? Let's see if I have more questions that I can answer to. Okay guys, so now you bake this beauty. Once it's baked, you will see that the top is quite high. And after 15-20 minutes, it will deflate and you will get exactly the shape that we are looking for. Let me place this one in the refrigerator because I'm not baking it right now. And once it deflates, this is what you end up with. See how beautiful this is. And now we are ready to see the cut. It cools down, it reaches room temperature, and you have to place the cheesecake in the refrigerator if you don't eat it right away. If you eat it within 5-6 hours, that is good. Otherwise, it goes into the refrigerator. And it can stay up to 3 to 4 days. Remember, there are eggs in the refrigerator. If it stays longer, usually it changes the consistency, become liquid, lumpy, but then again, it's not safe to eat. So let's say 6 hours, or 2 hours, whatever it takes, mint paper, because you can lift it. And the pan is clean, perfect, no leakage. And now